Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, The New Powerpuff Girls, and Star vs. the Force of Evil. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hello.
And Justin Cummings.
Hey, everybody.
Get hype. Today, Delaney, Justin, and I are discussing the half-hour Steven Universe special, Bismuth, which aired today, August 4th. On Cartoon Network, part of Summer of Steven. We've been going through every episode of the Summer of Steven / Steven Summer Adventures here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com and check out all our previous SU podcasts. You can search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes, your favorite podcatcher, and subscribe to us there. We are definitely going to get into all this Bismuth hype, and there's nothing else to it. Spoilers to this episode and all the previous episodes. I officially lift the Bismuth ban. It has happened.
It's been lifted.
Somehow the entire fandom was mostly right about Bismuth. Somehow. And let's discuss it. We're gonna get into all of it. I think buckle in. Someone asked if this is going to be an extra long podcast. I think so, because I think this might be my longest outline ever, and
it's pretty long.
There's a lot to get to. I've written down all the quotes from the episode. It's basically a transcription. We'll get into quality in a second, but in general, Delaney, reactions to the Bismuth special.
She shattered me, ow, this episode. I mean, I guess in the back of my head, I was like, dark Bismuth, because, who doesn't do that? But, I mean, we even got a little bit into Amethyst here, which I think, I had kind of thought, I was like, maybe Amethyst doesn't know Bismuth, but I guess we didn't talk about it at all. And then I was like, oh, okay, she really doesn't know who Bismuth is. This is interesting. And just, this episode was awesome, and just, it got so dark so quick, and it just hurt really bad. And just, Steven and, I really love this episode. I'm hoping my dad isn't deleting the recording right now, because I want to watch it again. But just loved it. And just, I'm still shaking, I'm vibrating. Whoa.
She shattered me, says Delaney.
She shattered me. That's what happened.
Justin, what are your reactions to Bismuth?
I've been talking about Bismuth since I joined this podcast, and I was not disappointed. This was everything I could have hoped for. It was amazing. I was hoping that we wouldn't go the Dark Bismuth route. We did. I'm okay with it. I liked what we got. I think this episode changes everything about the show. It sets up a lot of new ideas, and also, I mean, of course, there's the weapon stuff that happened. But there are a few lines in this show that just really change everything, and I think we're going to dive into that. But I think this is going to be considered a milestone. It really will be.
So I have one big takeaway from this. This isn't my number one takeaway. It's my number one overall takeaway, but this isn't there's also an episode to talk about. But Rose was made on Earth? What?
Yeah, that was the...
What? Since when?
That was just thrown in there. That's the biggest mythology revelation we've had in... Oh my goodness. Since when is... Did people theorize that? I had no concept of that.
Nobody thought this.
I can't even imagine.
Rose is made on Earth.
The episode just started screaming. I knew we were going to have another commercial. I had time to just scream at my TV. And it was many words I can't use on this podcast.
Since it's you, I don't doubt it. But yeah, just what? I just spent a week ago just talking for half an hour about why Rose is definitely Pink Diamond, and no.
Nope.
She's just another quartz.
Everyone is wrong.
I mean, I guess Bismuth could be lying, so let's keep the conspiracy hopes alive, or Rose could have lied to her. No, okay. In general, that's my big mythology takeaway. Overall, I think one of my big takeaways is this is not going to help me in criticizing Steven Universe's airing format, their 11-minute format, because they go to 22 minutes and it's incredible. This, you can they pack in so much here. They have such a complete story arc. This is the type of episode that makes you want longer from Steven Universe. They could explore so much here.
Imagine what the show, the show's perfect as is, but then imagine what the show could be if we did this. Imagine.
Bismuth is a Korra episode. It's it's not even a Steven Universe episodes are so focused and on one thing, and they move very fast. This episode sits and it explores Bismuth with each of our characters, and we actually build up to this climactic ending. There's a lot of stuff to do, and there's all this stuff we get to explore, and just all these new we get to insert a bunch of new mythology aspects that make a lot of sense. We get to explore every aspect of this character, all the aspects of the other characters. We get to like simmer with Steven and Amethyst's reaction to Bismuth. We get to see this. We get new weapons. We get to see there's just so much here, and overall, this is clearly one of the best things the show has done, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in a normal 11-minute episode, this like dark Bismuth turn wouldn't have resonated the way it did here, because we had time to be like, okay, holy crap, that's Bismuth, and then like, I love Bismuth. We get to hear her make jokes. We get to hear about everyone else loves her, and then we actually have time to be like, this dark descent into like the volcano. like they wouldn't like just. Actual volcano. We've reached, I think, like, honestly, I think this might be like the emotional peak of Steven Universe. Like, I don't know if this kind of was it. Like, I don't mean like from going forward there won't be anything more emotional, but like I think as like a full episode and just like where we've been going, like this peak, it's just like, oh my god, and it was just brilliantly executed in 22 minutes.
It's a lot. I mean, I'll disagree, and I'll still say Rosa Scabbard, but like it's.
Well, I mean, like I just meant like in like structure episode wise. But I mean,
it builds up more. Yeah.
I mean, obviously Rosa Scabbard, but my thing is like this wouldn't have resonated as much as it did if it had been an 11-minute episode. Like if it had been 2 11-minute episodes, like however they would have structured it or whatever, it wouldn't have worked. This, like, oh my god, good job.
So you could tell this was built as one 22-minute episode, not 2 11-minute episodes. You could actually, like, I was worried when it did that 7-minute commercial break, like at 7 minutes in instead of 11 minutes in, but it worked. You could tell they structured it into 3 acts, not 2 episodes, and I thought that really played to their strengths.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly intended. I think our big discussion is going to be the ending, whether we liked it, whether we like how it was executed. The ending went fast. That being said, I want to stake my claim now. I like how they executed the episode. I would have rather given more time to the things that we gave time to in the beginning. I think those were more vital things to take your time on rather than the ending, which, yes, at the end of the episode, it's resolved in like 20 seconds. And,
right.
And like, yes, the dark Bismuth turn is going to be controversial. I'm already seeing controversial asks into my timer. We'll discuss that. But and no, that wasn't my favorite thing. But regardless, I'm glad they did it the way they did it, and I also think it was executed brilliantly, even if it's a pretty contrite plotline. Like basically, you have everything, which is incredible, and then you have the dark Bismuth ending, which is exactly what we thought it was going to be. I'd been talking with commenter Steve about this Bismuth being Jet. I think I said that last podcast. Like, yeah. Bismuth is literally Jet from Avatar, and yes, that's everything we thought it would be. It's they think they do it in interesting ways. It's not the most interesting concept to go with Bismuth. I think this episode suffers from us sitting on Bismuth theories for half a year to a year. I think that, like, you know, I don't know. It wouldn't be as expected if there's nothing to expect, which is Cartoon Network's fault, so air it sooner. But, you know, regardless, like, yeah, it's probably not a 10 out of 10 because of slight storytelling things with the ending, which are intentional, though. Like, these are my favorite things to talk about. It's not like, oh, this episode did this badly. It's like, okay, this episode made a choice. And maybe that's not going to be the most popular choice with everyone, but it was an intentional thing. I love discussing that, and it's not like there's nothing wrong that's done here. No. The ending's fast, but it's intentional. Everything's intentional. There's nothing like this is as close to a 10 out of 10 as you're going to see in modern television, and it was really incredible. I'm just looking at my long paragraphs, and we're going to get to everything. What stands out to you, Delaney? One thing about Bismuth or reactions to Bismuth from everyone that comes to the top of your mind as your fave moment of the episode?
That's so hard. I mean, I'm stuck on Dark Bismuth because I mean, obviously people are gonna be like, oh, I mean, I loved it because we needed to go. This is where we needed to go in the show. Like, we had to have this moment. I guess. I just love Bismuth, like, she's just great. Like, we have this awesome giant buff blacksmith. Like, I love her. I guess my favorite scene was the sparring. Like, that was just like everything she was saying and like the way the gyms reacted to her, and we even had Steven being like, "This is really scary and intense right now." Like everything about that scene, I think, was like that might even just kind of be like the scene of the episode, like that kind of sums up like just like Bismuth and like everything that's happening in the episode. Like I thought that was a really powerful scene, and seeing all the gyms like react, and I think that was the best.
Justin, same question. What's one Bismuth moment that stands out to you?
My favorite moment is when Steven first pulls Bismuth out of the main. I thought that was very interesting.
Hide and go seek with Steven and the...
That was cute, but
great.
specifically when Bismuth comes out and we just get Pearl, Bismuth, and just that whole scene, just...
Pearl's reactions.
You could tell just in that one scene, it emphasizes what we've talked about recently with Amethyst not having the same time with the gems as the other two, but also it immediately shows this bond, and I thought they did that in a great way. And Pearl being defiant, nobody owns me. I thought that was one of the cutest moments we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah. I'll go with Bismuth's normal activity, more human gem rituals with all of them watching Lonely Blade, Bismuth trying out sleeping.
That was almost mine, because I really like the pizza.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I'm looking back at the episode, and it seems kind of like a little formulaic in that we're hitting all of our great Steven Universe moments, but I feel like it flowed so well when I was watching it, so I'm gonna have to rewatch. But
it's kind of like the quintessential Steven Universe episode. Like we're like, okay, we have this new gym, we have to do all of the gym activities with the new gym, and then we'll do like scary plot things in the last 2 minutes. Like we have to do everything in one episode, and it just worked really well. I don't like it. It didn't come off that way. Watching.
I don't think so. I think it's just when you break it down. But yeah, like this episode, I feel like maybe more so than any other Steven Universe episode was meticulously written. I never get the impression that these episodes are like constructed. And I think that's a big testament to the writers and the storyboard artists who also write. It never seems, probably most of the storyboard artists, honestly, but it never seems like we're hitting A, B, C, D.
Right.
This episode, I think, is closer to that, but it's like in a good way. You know, like we have all our moments with the gem. We're gonna do Bismuth with each gem. We're gonna have Bismuth talks with Steven. I mean, this episode's so well constructed in the context of the season. We get our bit more Steven as Rose moments, which I've been saying has been building up. We get what could be seen as a culmination of Steven's powers, and that she uses them against he uses them against her in the fight. I assume this is not the culmination because there has to be more, but it's very meticulously done. It makes sense. This episode makes sense with Amethyst's arc, even. Like Amethyst is kind of brooding in the beginning, and it just really fits. It's kind of like randomly placed, but it fits so well into the context of the season. My favorite things are the Steven talking about like being Rose and the mythology reveals we get with that. I love how the show handles expanding its mythology ever since Back to the Barn. I think we've just been doing such an incredible job of throwing things in there and not having it like, it's not like here's a mythology exposition. It's here's facts about Homeworld told through people who used to like experience it. Just everything, like even from Big's crazy legs Snowflake to Uzo Duba saying that again in different ways later in the episode was really great. Uzo Duba does an incredible job with Bismuth.
Yes,
I was not expecting this good of a performance, and I don't know of any other VA who's came onto the show and has done so well immediately. But there's just so much here, and this is such a well-developed character, and like the only reservation is that we go to typical places with it at the end, but at the same time we never weren't going there. Maybe my only issue is that it was too much of like a twist. Like, yeah, everyone knew it was coming, but the episode treats it as like a tonal shift, and that was supposed to be jarring. I feel like there's maybe a way to do it that's slightly more congruous with the rest of the episode, but at the same time, it's very well explained as to like, yeah, Rose was hiding it from them, and I think this episode furthers our understanding of Rose more so than maybe any other episode. I said that recently about the Rose flashback episode we just got, and that was great, and we continue with those themes, and then we even get more. It's like, no, Rose wasn't evil or morally ambiguous, but she wasn't forthcoming with everyone, which expands on themes we knew from Rose's Scabbard. And maybe she's not a great leader in terms of like, she's like, why, like she's hiding this from everyone. She's too protective of people she loves or something. Like, I think we get into that types of things. And it's really great. This episode really does so much. We're gonna go through it all, and we'll take your let's start to take some of our Tumblr asks before we go through the giant outline. Let's start with that. Anonymous says, "My heart is shattered in pieces." Okay, Delaney, there you go. Bismuth character was so good. Really, I really hope Gems keep using the arguments Bismuth gave them for their weapons. Augments, yeah, I think they seem super cool. We'll talk about the weapons. Like, that's like the 20th thing to talk about, is that they maybe have new weapons now. Anonymous says, no, now we know Rose isn't as pure and holy as the show made her out to seem. She really did have plenty of secrets, isn't perfect like we suspected, and it's kind of canon that she isn't a diamond, lol. Bismuth literally called her a court soldier, but who knows, Rose couldn't been hiding that too. So yeah, maybe Rose could be hiding that too. I'm gonna keep the conspiracy theories going. Actually, I think this episode made me see Rose in a more moral light. I've always been skeptical that Rose was as pure and good as everyone made it seem to be. This episode did more to convince me of that than anything else recently, I think. Like, yes, Rose hides things from people, but it wasn't. But she also didn't want her to use the gem cracker. Like,
this episode humanizes Rose in a way that we haven't gotten before. Like, she kept the secret from the crystal gems. Like, she didn't tell them. This is kind of Rose's dirty little secret. Like, she hid, and the fact that like Bismuth has been in Lion's Mane the entire time. Like, and it's even worse too, because like the fact that since she didn't tell them, like, it's even worse on the crystal gems because they like missed Bismuth. I mean, and they still missed her. Like, this doesn't just like immediately make her like the worst person ever. Like, it's talking about war and like, it's complicated stuff. And the fact that she didn't, like, this humanizes her. Like, and then Steven, he doesn't rectify her mistake, but he like, has his moment with Bismuth, and I think this humanizes Rose. Like, this brings her down a little bit from like this deity status that we've had her on the show. Yeah,
I really agree with that. I've never been able to connect to Rose.
Finally I feel like I can connect to her. Like, so we have this very moral, like, she's like, no, we can't use this. We can't, she obviously that's what had led to this falling out. She can't. Nope, we're not going to use it. It's bad. It doesn't, makes us just as bad as Homeworld. So one, that's good point. Little tick for Rose there. Yes, and then, but then of course we have this. She didn't tell anybody. So okay, confirmed. Good person, Rose, but also not perfect. Which I think that's like honestly the best characterization we can have at this point for Rose, to finally bring her down a little bit to like a relatable level.
And like we knew Rose was hiding Lion from Pearl,
right?
And this goes along with that. I think it's a further characterization of her maybe being too protective of the people she loves,
right?
And like that's clearly her biggest flaw at this point, and like that's a pretty good flaw to have. So
yeah,
definitely more in on Rose now than I have been before.
Same,
yeah. Still not necessarily like the most interesting. We'll see about that, but like clearly, I mean, I've been on the morally gray Rose train, which people criticize frequently, but I don't think the show's necessarily convinced me, other than like telling me. Now I feel like the show, but between this episode and last Friday, has shown me after telling me for like the show not tell. The show like told me for like a season and a half that Rose is good, and now it's really shown me, and I believe you now. Sure.
Yeah, well, it's like especially like look, I mean, Bismuth, perfect example. Like, the other gems are like, Bismuth's awesome! And then Steven's like, she's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And then finds out that Bismuth has created this weapon.
Steven and Amethyst in this episode were me with Rose for
right.
I'm sitting here making my conspiracy theories in the background, like Steven, yeah. Such a good episode. Anonymous says, I wish they could adopt these 30-minute episodes more often. It allows for so much in-depth plot, which is so refreshing, while allowing for some lighthearted moments. Yeah, we talked about that. And
yep.
Definitely going to be a big talking point after that. Anonymous says, these additions to Garnet's gauntlets, Pearl Spear, and Amethyst's whip were really cool. They could really come in handy in future battles. Bismuth was literally going to shatter Steven. At least we know why Rose bubbled her. She was too extreme, but Rose lying about it doesn't make sense. I think it does make sense if you look at it from the perspective, this is me talking, of I worry sometimes we don't differentiate between me reading and me talking.
Yeah,
but I think it does make sense from the perspective of Rose is just protecting the people she loves. She knows Pearl and Garnet love Bismuth, so telling her that she had to bubble Bismuth and that she wanted to maybe kill Rose, or like who even knows what was happening in that scene, but like I think she's like protecting them from the truth.
Yeah.
And
it would hurt them.
And they don't need that, but that's the choice she made. I also think maybe she's covering her own butt. Maybe they wouldn't like that she bubbled Bismuth.
Well, it's also protecting Bismuth too. Like
it's also protecting Bismuth because they won't go after her and they'll leave her alone.
Yeah, I think that's kind of that's kind of like that makes a lot of sense to me about given what very little we know, but what we've seen about Rose, this idea of I have to protect the crystal. They would be hurt. Our best friend, tried to hurt and all this stuff, and that's kind of messed up. But then also. There's multiple things here too. Like Rose, what if Garnet and Pearl? Now I don't necessarily think this would have happened, but like, what if they would have wanted to use the weapon and Rose is kind of saving them from this very dark path? This idea, like we can't do this. She's making the executive decision as the leader of the Crystal Gems, and then also protecting Bismuth, not just from being attacked, but also like kind of maintaining this idea of Bismuth, like of what Bismuth, who Bismuth is, and not having it be tainted by this weapon that she created.
Yeah, I think that's true. I also think it's like maybe protecting her cause a little bit. I think that's there's a big disruption. She's keeping it on theme. There's a lot of reasons. Some of them selfish, some of them for the greater good, some of them for genuinely just for people that she. Yeah, there's a lot to get into. By the way, I see that there's a final week promo of Summer of Steven. At the end, we can I'll live narrate the promo as we watch at the end of the episode.
I've seen it. It's crazy.
We'll get into that later. Focusing on Bismuth for now. The Teen of Steel says, great episode. Pearl being super gay in the beginning was great, and the show did an awesome job of showing, even after all that time, the dynamic between the three of them hasn't changed. It's also worth noting how Bismuth's weapon is basically her shape-shifting her arm into different items, but it's sad how we keep finding out Rose hid a lot from her supposedly trusted crystal gems. Two sides of the coin: protecting people she loves, but also not trusting them enough.
Right.
I don't know, Pearl's being super gay. She's being super happy in I guess that's.
Well, Pearl's always being gay.
That's just Pearl. So
Pearl's just gay. So.
Gurren Prime says, I was really disappointed in that ending. I thought that if Steven allowed her to reform, she might be willing to listen to him in the Crystal Gems. So let's put aside the tropiness of the ending and let's talk about the decision to bubble Bismuth again. Any disappointment with this?
No.
I was satisfied with it.
It happened fast.
Yeah.
It's unsatisfying from like a human perspective. Like, oh, she's just cryogenically frozen for the rest of the series. I don't know if I love that, but
well, they were at an impasse. Like, I mean, it was very like this. I disagree with this idea that if she had been reformed, like, no, she also this is the second this is attempt 2 on the breaking point.
Yeah.
And she was going to kill Steven. Like, she was going to use it, and she was even expecting Steven to use it on her. Like, she, in the end, wanted to be shattered. She didn't want. She was just like that. That's what it came down to for Bismuth. It was like either I win or I lose. This is kind of the middle ground. This is Aang and not Sozin, Ozai, and the going the third route no one thought was going to happen. I think this is the best event. And that's ultimately what Steven's about anyway. Like, that obviously bubbling her is the only real solution, especially given the argument. Steven's like, we'll just be as bad as Homeworld if we just shatter gems. So he had to, it makes sense bubbling her, because it's like ultimately that's what you would think they would do with Homeworld gems if they're not going to shatter them, but if they're not willing to. I mean, granted, that also brings into ideas like they should be able to exist even if they don't agree with you. But I mean, at least she's still she can still exist. Like, she's not gone forever.
You know what's really interesting? Steven did not have to bubble Peridot, did not have to bubble Lapis. Steven in this episode says, maybe the line of the episode, usually when I meet a new gem, they try and kill me, and it takes me forever to become friends with them.
Right.
Seriously, Bismuth is the you can't, and you're right, it's the second time Shinji went back to it again, and I think it happens too fast to really understand why Steven makes this choice.
He's encountering the brick wall. I've been talking about this for a while, encountering this moment of like where Steven becomes like who he is, and this idea of like Steven can't save everyone. And I think a lot of people were anticipating this with Jasper, but like here it is. Like Steven, she's not going to change her mind, and Steven isn't going to kill her. So he bubbles her.
I mean, I think it means more than had it been Jasper, because I mean, Jasper was built up as this enemy, while Bismuth was introduced as a friend, someone that the other gems cared about. And so Steven had to make this decision about someone they loved without them there. And I think the decision to have it just be Steven and Bismuth alone was very smart. The promo made it look like the sparring session was actually going to be the big fight. And I didn't want that. I wanted this kind of intimate moment, and that's what we got. So I think they really did make the right call, because Steven grew a lot through having to make that decision.
You know, I don't...
It wasn't so much of a decision. I mean, it's like Steven was never going to shatter her. Like, that was never going to be it. Like,
you know, it's also not really a decision. He does stab her with the...
Yeah, he does. Like,
yeah.
and I mean,
and
he
that
does.
inherently bubbles her, so...
Yeah,
or it inherently
it poofs her and bubbles her.
Yeah, it poofs her and he decides to bubble her. So, we didn't get to see Steven talking it out with the crystal gems and them deciding to indeed keep her bubbled and put her in the bubble room.
Right.
That would have been great, but at the same time, that's not how narrative structures work. Like, you can't spend... We could have spent like a minute on it, but...
Right.
The way they structured the episode, it wasn't happening.
I mean, we might have brief mention to it. I don't think this is like. I mean, I think this will definitely have resounding effects, not just on Steven, but like on the unit, like how we move on from here.
To me, it was satisfying because of the way we brought in Rose's sword, contrasting with the whatever and
breaking point.
The breaking point. Yeah, just that's not a good name for a weapon.
It's a terrible name.
That's
like
not
it's
a good name.
horrible.
I liked it.
I don't know.
A point? What's a point? That's not a weapon. Anyway,
the breaking point, the drill point,
the breaking drill. Like,
it's not a drill. It's just like a spike.
It's just like, isn't that a movie name? And that like, it's just breaking point.
You're thinking
like,
Point
really?
Break.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Like, I don't like the name.
Well, but I think it was really satisfying in the way it was constructed. I think, like, take issue with them not showing us more, but I think the way it happened was brilliant. Okay, let's go through the episode. We'll see if more asks come in. I mean, that was like 6 right away. I'm impressed, guys. I was not intentionally soliciting feedback, but that had happened. So this episode's storyboarded by our Colin and Jeff team, and then we have Lamar and Katie, who I believe do not typically do. Yeah, they do. Okay, they do. And I was confusing Katie and Hillary. Okay, so we're combining 2 teams for this. So I don't know who took which half. I assume we could figure it out with them posting stuff, but I don't know if they posted stuff yet. Anyway, this is probably like the A and B teams for plot episodes, so that makes sense. Yeah, so let's get into all the teams are the A and B teams, but these two typically handle the more plotty ones. Okay, let's talk about the specifics of the episode. I've seen this beginning like 10 times now because this is the part that actually released. But apparently the episode leaked 4 hours ago. I was not aware. So that's I think why people got asked in so fast. I'm seeing that now, but this was the first time we saw it, and it's right after the episode. So let's talk specifics. I have the whole episode basically transcribed here. Steven, we start off in a great way. Steven and the Crystal Gems playing a video game, and Steven says, "Dying a bunch in video games is emotionally exhausting."
I agree.
Yeah,
it's the most Justin quote ever.
That's like a great line to start off, and that's probably the 50th best line of the episode. Lion chewing up Steven's Thunderbird shirt. But how will I remember that I rode the Thunderbird at Funland? Yeah, and then he has all the merchandise meticulously laid out on the table. I love how Lion acts with the shirt. Why is Lion just a dog here? Like, I don't know. Lion confuses me.
Truly feline, or is he canine in origin?
Because Lion's just, I don't know if this is a dog or a cat. This is more of a dog, right? Like, but it's just the thing with the shirt, and I love how he goes to stop, and then Steven stops him, and he's like, oh, and then he just stands there looking at him. And then the way Steven's like, you're gonna have to put this in your mane. He's like, Yeah, but then
so cute.
Yeah, anyway, great line stuff in the beginning. Put this where you can't get it, in your mane. And great line read on that, and a great Steven expression, super cute. And he says, "Thank you, boo," to Lion.
So great.
Okay, Steven's just transcended at this point.
Yes, he has transcended.
Okay, Steven.
How did Rose's sword get back in the main if Connie had it?
Did Connie? I don't remember. Did Connie have Rose's
Connie
sword?
usually keeps the sword because Steven gave it to her in Nightmare Hospital, and she's had it ever since, and she had it in Crack the Whip.
I guess
Maybe
she put it
Wine
back
was
in there
also
after.
there.
Yeah, I
Do
guess.
you think
True.
her parents are gonna let her keep a sword?
Yes, because
wasn't
they
that a
had the
plot
end of
point
Nightmare
in-
Hospital.
Yeah, that was a
point
plot
of
point.
Nightmare Hospital.
But did she keep it? I don't even remember.
Well, no, the point
Yes.
the point of Nightmare Hospital is allowing her to like go on missions and things. I think it's a little bit different.
There's
like
a whole
the
thing with like
expectation-
keeping a weapon in the house.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
a whole different thing.
But that was the thing in that episode. I don't remember. Anyway, that episode aired over a year ago.
No,
but-
that was October or September.
I don't know. It's that's over a year in waiting for Steven Universe episode time. So
Yes.
I've met it yet. Save Forever hanging in this perfectly stable tree, magic tree. Yeah. We don't talk about that, but this makes no sense that the tree breaks. But okay. Pop the bismuth. Bubble, and then we cut back to Steven like pops out, and we get like another incredible line, and it's just throwaway, which is the Garnet telling like Amethyst to jump, like jump, and he's like, I am jumping. Okay,
They're so great.
yeah, that was pretty good. Then Bismuth and Steven see each other, and we see like the moving title screen, the title card, which is great.
That was
Amazing.
amazing.
Best title card ever. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, so good.
Yeah. Steven popping in and out. What's the gem look like? It's an innie. Okay, that's how
That was so good.
This is the only mention we have to the fact that Bismuth's gem looks completely different than everyone else's gem.
I loved it. So
Yeah. It's the gem inside lines. Main, Steven, I already talked about that. Hey, little friend. Yeah, and then, wow, a total stranger. Who says that? Amethyst, right?
Amethyst.
Yeah.
That was
Wow.
wonderful.
Wow, a total stranger, yeah. Amethyst.
That felt almost like a Peridot line. You brought me to a sign.
Well, hashtag Amadot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Pearl Garnet, Bismuth, you're back. Somebody somebody lose a pearl thing. Who do you belong to? Nobody. Yeah. It's
That was
like,
wonderful.
Yeah, that whole thing, like the emotional stuff we'd gotten with Pearl is now a teasing thing with her because it shows how familiar they are and like how and how Pearl's comfortable with that with her. It's like a really great introduction to that. You're two to talk. Your ruby is showing. She says about Garnet. Like,
So good.
oh my god. Yeah, thought you'd been captured or worse, shattered. One of the original crystal gems. Sees amethyst. We could always use more amethysts in the cause. Yeah. Who is this meatball? Rose.
Meatball.
Rose lost track of the battle for the ziggurat. I think we'd heard about that before. But
Yes.
hi,
Because I had to tell you what it was.
Yeah,
Because
I
you didn't
guess
know.
so. I still don't know. So hi, I'm
like a
actually
tap.
Rose's son. She turned into me. I have her gem. The rest is from my dad. Okay, Steven. Yep, that's how it works.
Yep, that's it.
Don't know me. Stand by in Rose's choices. She really is something else. Everything's changing, and then we get the clip that we saw originally. Making bases out of wood now. Where's everyone
And she
else?
tears it up.
Yeah,
Like,
she
come on,
literally
chill. Rips up a floorboard.
Crazy legs.
I wanted
Biggs.
somebody to fall through the base where
Yeah.
they rip floorboard.
Yeah. Crazy Legs Big Snowflake, and then they teleport. We were just here. It was 5,300 years ago. One of maybe the only misses on the lines for me is Pearl saying, we, the crystal gems. I don't know why she needs to explain. I don't know who she's talking to by saying we, the crystal gems, but yeah, I don't know if that made in universe sense. Maybe I'm missing something, but that seems
Maybe
to be more
not
to
just
lines.
us as in the people here, but the entire army.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. I
don't
think that.
I think it's just meant to stress. Like, we called them the crystal gems, but there were once many.
It seems like an addition to like make it makes more sense to the audience, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where all that's like saved Earth, where all that's left of the rebellion. I can't take it when you cry like that, Pearl. Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah.
Same.
Homeworld's final attack on Earth wiped out all the crystal gems. Rose was able to protect Garnet and I, and apparently you. Okay, so now that we know
lost.
that the diamonds unleashed a light song attack from so apparently Rose bubbled just herself, Garnet and Pearl, and I guess Lion, and Bismuth was inside Lion. I don't know how this works, but maybe that was after, but presumably Rose bubbled just enough of them So that's
Well, I
okay.
don't think a bubble
we know-
gem would have been hurt.
Well, I think we've established that
Right, yeah.
Bismuth wasn't there for the final attack.
Yeah, right. So Bismuth was already bubbled at that point and was already inside Lion, and maybe Lion was immune or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But
so-
I think this, along with the whole Rose would never want to shatter the gems, seems to confirm that Rose was not the one who made the final attack, that it was Homeworld. Probably White Diamond, like my theory was.
Yeah, I mean, according to Pearl, correct. Right.
Between Pearl and Centipedal, I claim it's White Diamond.
I mean, we'll still file away the these are perspectives on potentially unreliable information. We already know
That's
that
the thing, because we don't know. The thing is, we don't know what happened. Like, all we know is that everyone was dead.
And we already know that Pearl is like really uninformed about stuff with Rose too. So it's a little bit there could be twists that they could work in here. Anything would make sense, but
we know literally nothing. So
how many did they shatter? Homeworld still has its eyes on his planet. They keep coming back. Show them what happens when you mess with the crystal gems. They outnumber us. Their technology surpasses us. Garnet.
think like just talking about they shattered the crystal gems. Like, so this attack, whatever it was, shattered gems.
Right.
Like,
so we heard before
powerful.
that it corrupted them. So that's
he corrupted.
interesting.
He shattered the gems. So
Right.
whoa.
So
That's pretty messed up.
I mean, we know that I don't think that's new info. We know that.
Well, it could have been. Well, my thing is, like, think about it. Like, Centipedal was that confirmed Homeworld gem?
Yes.
Because then, what if they somehow were able to make something that that could only hurt gems that were made in the Earth?
Right. So made in the Earth. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Some sort of weapon that could only injure gems that were made in the Earth.
Yeah.
Granted, she bubbled Pearl and
neither of them
Garnet,
were
and
made
they
on
weren't
Earth.
made in the Earth. So who knows?
Maybe they still would have been corrupted from it.
Yeah, so who knows?
Maybe the light song can discern something. It's a magic light song. I don't know. So we'll need more info on that, but we're starting to piece together something, especially only from the last 2 weeks. It's pretty interesting. Then we get Bismuth recounting war stories. Remember, Garnet, you and I took on a battalion of Quartz soldiers. It was 3 battalions, if I remember.
3 battalions.
Yeah. Pearl, you and I stopped that dropship and something to the person or something. I think she named a new type of gem, but I didn't
I don't know what it was.
Uh,
Too fast. And
it's like nephrite or something.
How embarrassing for her.
It was pretty good.
To the Forge, and then we get a commercial at 7 minutes, which was surprising. But I guess that's how Cartoon Network does 30-minute shows, not that they have any.
Yes.
So that's what
they have one, and
it's
called Total Drama.
I don't think that's an actively airing one, right?
No, it's not.
Sad. Are all their current shows? I think all their current shows are 11 minutes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We can fact check.
Actually, Scooby-Doo might be 30 minutes.
No, Scooby-Doo's 11.
Okay.
Pokemon.
Does Pokemon count? I don't know.
It's not Cartoon Network made, but they air it, and there's 2 commercial breaks.
Okay, so all their made was. So this is very different from their made properties. Okay, second segment at the Forge. Not yet since we haven't been back. Not yet since Bismuth's gone. There's no reason to come back. Steven's excited. We're back in Bismuth. She's got jokes. I love Steven. Yeah, talk about that. Yeah,
so great. Cute.
I think we have at least 2 or 3 self-referential lines. This jokes one is going to be one later, and then we have the one I already said about Steven making friends with crystal gems. We'll see if there's another one. But Bismuth with with opening the door. Pearl's excited. Hot lava bath. This place is designed really interestingly with the lava.
Yeah,
everywhere.
no, it's neat.
Yeah. Props to actual Steven and rest of background crew for this design. I enjoyed. Homeworld used us bismuths to erect. Mythology. Homeworld used us bismuths to erect spires and temples for the gem elites to enjoy. Rose taught me that my life is my own. I can use it to do whatever I wanted, so I chose this. And she makes weapons. So, okay, we know that from the Centipedal episode that originally they came to Earth to construct stuff, and it was the Bismuths that did that. Yep, interesting.
Bismuths are builders. They're architects.
Yeah, I guess so. And she makes weapons, though. And outfitted the entire rebellion. Garnet, here's new gauntlets, which were kind of
she called them something interesting. She said... in reference to the weapons, because that they actually exist, as obviously Pearl's
they're
weapons,
material.
So they said material weapons, which I appreciated saying that, because obviously, like, Pearl and Garnet's weapons, like, they exist when they pull them out, but like they're not really material because they weren't made the way.
So like, she makes earth weapons, right?
Yeah, makes earth weapons. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. Like, like difference, like actually saying that material weapons.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think the commenter had been talking about that recently was. Yeah, because it's like the difference between the geminate weapons, part of their projections, and the things Bismuth making are different. Garnet has like brass knuckles that like turn into gauntlets. That's interesting. Pearl now has a trident.
Amazing.
Yeah. Working on them since before. Pleasure doing Bismuth with you.
So good. The one we've seen in the promo 5,000 times.
And then Amethyst. I don't know. The same joke twice. Steven. Well, it'll be really funny when she does it a third time.
So good.
That's that. Okay, this is what I mean by this episode is like better written and like more meticulously constructed than any other Steven Universe episode. Then when she says it again, it's like during their incredibly dark thing at the end.
Yes, it's so great.
That's really good. Like how we do this.
Love it.
No one, and it wasn't funny the third time. It was scary.
Yeah, and it wasn't funny.
So good.
No one. Amethyst is skeptical. No one mentioned her to me. Not even Rose. Suspicious. I don't know how much we addressed that. That they didn't talk about her.
No, they don't. And then she gets a weapon, and Amethyst's like, Bismuth is awesome. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense in that she was already gone, and like before the attack, and like Rose, I don't know, was hiding stuff. So I don't know. It is. I don't know. Maybe we could have addressed that again. But yeah, that did seem suspicious, and that's not ultimately, I guess, why she was suspicious. I feel like there's a little bit of disconnect. Not every, complimenting Amethyst, not every quartz can make a whip like this. She adds chain balls to it, like Stevens.
It's like a flail now.
Yeah, it's like a flail now. Amethyst is exciting, trading with Bismuth. Now we go to the training scene. She says, is the power couple losing their spark to Garnet? Which, I don't know if I've heard people call Garnet the power couple before, but now that's all I want to call her. So.
Yes. So good.
Yeah. Pearl shooting lasers from her spear. Is this something we can do now? That's exciting. We're powerful, important. Where are the crystal gems? It's a little intense for me. We spar like this before a battle.
Can Bismuth give me pep talks?
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, maybe. You have to be a crystal gem though, and then she can.
Darn.
Yeah.
And all the pep talks end with you having to make a very dark existential decision.
Maybe worth it. Yeah, maybe live with it. Yeah,
it might be worth it, honestly.
But then Steven's like, we have our own rituals: badminton, playing cards, making pizzas. We're watching the Lonely Blade anime.
Apparently.
Yeah, there's an anime. That's cool. Of course, Lonely Blade should use it. Infinite power. And it's like it's entertainment. Pearl like explaining TV.
This is called foreshadowing.
Yeah, I guess so. That is called foreshadowing. True. I do like that we work in like the TV show parody, although it's like the thing we introduced yesterday. It's really interesting that we go right to that. But
wait, haven't we seen Lonely Blade? We have seen Lonely Blade, haven't we? Isn't that where Steven learned about way back? Steven the sword fighter, when the first Hollow Pearl episode. Wasn't the Lonely Blade movies what made him want to learn sword fighting?
No memory of that.
I have no idea.
Because he was like, I want to do the boomerang blade. And she's like, there is no boomerang blade. And he's like,
that's probably right. Okay, so we're bringing back something from early on. But yeah, many of these S1 episodes, no memory. So thank you for correcting me so I wouldn't get a million asks on that. But yeah. We are bringing a lot of season 1 stuff back. So that's interesting. Bismuth, you can sleep on the couch. You can try sleeping. I like these new rituals. And then Steven says, usually when I meet a new gem, they try and kill me, and it takes forever for me to become friends with them. Yeah. Steven agreed. That is
yeah, that's what happens.
That is what happened. Glad I have another chance. Mostly my weapons are for defense. But how about this one? Then he pulls out Rose's sword. Yeah. My finest piece of work. You made this. You don't really remember how Rose Quartz changed my life. Came to her thinking I was just another colony. Build another. Then I met her. Another quartz soldier made right here in the dirt, she says. Yeah, we talked about that.
Also, this finally cleared up for me, like, I didn't understand why the sword existed.
Yeah, I mean, we know its purpose now, so.
Well, we know it because my thing was like, because how all the other gym weapons work is like, theoretically it should have gone away. When
because it was
Rose,
specifically made by Bismuth,
right? And then I was like, oh, it got made. I was like, thank you, this mystery that Delaney has been trying to figure out for so long.
It's a material weapon, yeah. Good
Yay!
Good call on that one, yeah.
Well, yeah.
She asked me
because her shield was her gem weapon.
It's her gem weapon, which is why it makes sense that Steven can have it. But like, I was like, I don't understand the sword.
Yeah, I agree. She asked me what I wanted to be. Gems always hear what they're made for, but Rose opened our eyes. This is the type of thing we talked about with last Friday's episode, big themes recently. Steven's like, I can't measure up. And Bismuth's like, I'm the one giving the pep talk to Rose's son. Yeah.
I enjoyed the confusion. Like, what are you?
You're different, and that's exciting. You can be you. You deserve, this whole thing, pep talk to Steven. You deserve a better weapon. The sword can cut through Gem's physical forms in an instant, destroying the body, but never the gem. Like, totally the ultimate Rose weapon. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Homeworld doesn't fight fair. That's why we need a different strategy. Working on a weapon that could have won the war. The breaking point activates the lava skies, shatters the thing's gems. One shot shatters any gem in the galaxy in the blink of an eye. Homeworld gems won't be able to retake us when they're reduced to shreds. Now look like
shards.
You really mean shards. Now look like you really mean bismuth. Yeah, there you go. Cut to commercial.
Oh man. Intense.
I think what was really cool here was the way they went immediately from our typical Steven, sit down moment talk to this. It went from this kind of typical, here's someone being a mentor to Steven, a crystal gem, very season 1 idea, and then it became very dark. And I don't think we've ever seen someone Steven trusts like that give him. I mean, he's gotten bad advice, but never like this. This was they took something familiar and twisted it.
Also...
Go ahead.
This is the darkest Steven Universe has gotten. Like, this is Steven is confronting gem death. Like, we haven't, like, obviously we understand gems can be shattered and dealing with clusters and, these experiments and corrupted gems, but those are all kind of, like, they're meaningful to Steven, and he's very upset that he can't help them, but it's also kind of an abstract thing. Like, they are the way they are, but they're still gems. He thinks he can save them. But to be faced with this weapon that's sole purpose is to kill gems, like... I think, like, this is kind of, like, this is the darkest the show has been, and I've been waiting for this moment, this, like, truly, like, the real morality of the show, and this, Steven having to confront this, because we knew objectively, Steven would never kill, Steven doesn't really want to hurt people, this, and this, but then to be confronted with this, like, the possibility of actually killing gems. Because, like, we understand, they can be cracked, and we've been worried here and there, but to be confronted with an actual possibility that, like, gems can die, that there's a weapon that could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we had this. Like, I know it's, people are going to be upset that Bismuth and this, but like we had to have this. Like, this needed to be here. Like, we've been waiting a long time for this. Also, like, we had to have this.
It's always been very tonally contrasting, and doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That Rose is supposedly this big protector of life, yet they fought a war to free themselves. That always isn't really, and it's not like I don't understand logically. It's that it's always, thematically, it's been very different and very...
well, we skate over it. Like, we ignore the fact that, like, the reason they're here is they fought a war, and then also, like, they lost the war. Like, we're talking about we repelled them, but... And
this episode does simultaneously a better job of explaining to me how these things are not contrastive tonally, and that Rose has a weapon that embodies probably what their war was about, which is like fighting for their freedom without killing anyone. And
like the ideal of it, like we're going to fight you, but we're not going to betray.
We're not like you, and we're not fighting to kill and stuff like that. Just that weapon is very representative of all that, and at the same time, it also establishes that there was another side to it, just maybe not by Rose herself, but of course there was in their probably somewhat large rebellion, which embodied by Bismuth. So really, this episode does do it basically takes me from, okay, this doesn't really make sense, and a big reason why Rose to me I don't really understand her was she fought the war, but she's this great protector, and this episode does so much to reconcile these contrastive themes, I think.
Like, 'cause she was the leader, but she also was like, no, we're not going to. She wasn't willing to kill other gems, even if they were in her way. Like this.
Yeah, and just the possibility of like breaking the form without the gem and stuff is really great. It's so the last part of the episode after the last commercial test run, Steven, I can't do it. Shattering gems, wouldn't that make us the same as Homeworld? Of course not. For the sake of our cause, free all the gem worlds from Homeworld's tyranny. Not what a crystal gem would do. Don't tell me. Nobody's more crystal gem than I am. I'll use it myself. No one use it. It's not right. So all of this then starts happening with like in like the background of like them fighting and Steven avoiding. And it's just usually these are just throwaway lines, but it's also just great dialogue in this. It's not right. That's exactly what she said. Probably the most serious and cinematic "that's what she said" of all time, I would say.
Yes, true.
That's exactly what you said. It's you, isn't it? Don't lie to me. You can't expect me to believe you now after you lied about everything. Just like you lied to the others about me. You know what happened to me. Kept me as I offered you the secret to victory and you refused. Yeah, this whole thing she like goes off on Rose for like lying to everyone, which is a thing that makes sense with what we knows about her too. I don't want to fight you, but you left me no choice. What type of leader doesn't give her army the best chance to win? All this happening like in the background, basically all this dialogue. How dare you value the lives of our enemies more than our own? You've lost. Basically, by the way, everything Bismuth's saying, accepted dialogue from our country's leaders and from society. Nothing in the context of this show. This is shocking dialogue. In the context of many of the world's cultures, this is accepted norms of justifying violence. And the show is kind of rejecting all that and has for a long time. And it's very powerful. Like, how dare you value the lives of our enemies more than our own? Like, it's like the whole thing about hearing how many like Americans died as opposed to like people died. All that, stuff that I'll get into. Very pacifist themes. And as one who agrees with these things, this was very powerful and good for me. I'm not my mom. I'm sure she didn't want to hurt you. I don't believe you anymore. Spike bubble from Steven. All that talk about take control of our own identities. It's just talk. Steven floating. Finally, a serious application of it. Should have just listened to me, Rose. Would have taken the war to Homeworld and shattered the diamonds. Would have liberated anyone. Steven like gets knocked into the thing and then launches the thing at Bismuth.
He even says, "Watch out."
Yeah. Presh. Had to stop. And then Bismuth, just shatter me. Just do it. Nobody deserves this. And then Steven puts the sword through her. This moment's really great. And should have shattered me back then. At least if I were in pieces, I wouldn't have to know how little I mattered to you. You didn't even tell them. Your friends, my friends. This whole thing, it's just very powerful. Like, and this also relates to things we know about Rose. People like comparing how much they mattered to Rose and then learning something, and it's very, very much relates to the Pearl stuff we got to with her, and how little you mattered. My friends, I'm gonna tell them everything. Then you really are better than her. And then Bubble throws the baking point into the lava. Need to tell you something. Put Bismuth in Bubble Room, and then they look up at the sky in Avatar series finale fashion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what we need to address, they didn't really talk about this. The warp pad was nowhere near the forge. It was a long walk. So Steven had to climb out of the pit, carry that bubble out of the forge, down the mountain.
Yeah, true.
We saw when he got back to the temple, he couldn't walk.
You know, he had injured his foot. That was he had. So I mean, I think they did I do think they did a really kind of when he is on the pad, they show this I think that it was really I think it was a powerful moment, this seeing Steven injured and his and he had lost the flip flop and he had burned his foot. They showed that in the fight, and then continuing that he's injured. So.
It was heavy, just seeing what Steven had to go through.
Like, thinking about this last scene, I'm a little unsatisfied with the tropiness of it. And when I say tropiness, I just, like, I expected this. It's been done before, like I said,
Right.
Jed and everything. I'm a little disappointed with how fast it went. But then we read the specifics, and that brilliant transition between them talking about how Steven feels getting into the darkness of it, how you include the third time she says it'll be hilarious, that as a transition. And then the ending, the choosing to bubble her being because Steven stabs her with the Rose's sword, and that being like, I have talked about Rose's sword in 3 different contexts or something, one of the best thematic parts of the entire episode, and just how the use of it is incredible, and like what it represents versus the breaking point, and just what they were saying during it, like, you know, it's I think it's mostly perfectly executed, and like it's just so good. Like
Yes.
I think I'm on team pro this ending now.
Same.
If
Same.
there's definitely not teams, because there's no one's, I don't know. We're recording this right after. Who knows what the teams are? But
Who knows what the teams are?
yeah,
We claim now to be the captains of this team.
yeah. But it's yeah, it's so good. There's so much here. That's the thing. A lot of times at the episodes I complain about there not being much there. There's so much here, and it's not just plot stuff. It's the character moments. It's the great lines. It's the like just the
morality we're getting into here,
the
just
thematics, the
everything,
morality, the
everything here.
plot advancement, to the general mythology advancement, the character advancement. I think you can make an argument this is the best Steven Universe episode. I think you can make that argument.
I think I was kind of making that argument with the emotional peak. Like, this episode has all of the pieces of Steven Universe in it. And then, yes, in like this kind of, this tropey ending, but we have like everything comes together, and we have like, it's not really mystery solved, but like themes that we know exist in Steven Universe, but like we're talking about them and the depth to them and everything, like just everything that Rose represents and what Steven represents, and just everything here is just, it's beautiful, and it's just wonderfully executed, and just the emotion is there. Like, it's just, everything is just there.
I'm ready to declare this the best narrative episode of the show by far.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some real good narratives. Rose's scabbard is brilliant. What'd you say, Delaney?
No, I just said I was agreeing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like, of course, Rose's scabbard.
Back to the Barn stands out as an absurdly good narrative episode. Too Far after that is incredible narratively. I mean, we could talk about some ones. I mean, the recent, the new Lars, I know no one's with me on that, but that was a perfectly written episode. Just everything. It's so meticulously done in such a good way. The execution, the background's where it's best. Artistically, this episode is incredible. Design...
they took a character that we like. Yes, people have been. I mean, okay, I had no idea she existed. I don't pay attention to the theories or whatever. Like, I had no concept. And yes, obviously that's meaningful to people. I'm not saying it isn't, but they took a character that they created in this one episode. Bismuth is created and ended in one episode, and it's beautifully done. You care about her, you're interested, and then it's kind of you're like, okay, she's either gonna be good or she's gonna be bad. This kind of expectation, and they twist it or whatever, and it's not really a twist, but it's still wonderfully done. They take this character and like they build her so high and then take her so low, and it's all in like 22 minutes. Like, I think that's the other thing we have to talk about is like there's a lot of stuff in Bismuth. People have been speculating and this and this for so long. We've been waiting for Bismuth, but like to create a character and to end her in like in one episode is brilliant, and they did it in such a brilliant way.
Yeah, they did such a good job, and I think they had to know that people were going to start speculating from the moment they showed a gem and lion. From the moment, and that was episode 35, I think, was Lion 3, when we first saw that. So they knew they were going to be waiting a good 65 episodes to finally do the reveal of what that gem was. So they knew they had to do something good with it, and they did. And I think it was worth the wait.
It's just every aspect of the episode incredible. It has the morals, the humor, the thematics, morals, just the incredible drama, the character building of Bismuth, how Bismuth affects all of our characters, an incredible Steven episode, artistically, the design on it, I assume the music was good. That's the sign of good music, though. I assume in the last scene, I didn't even know. This is the best episode of TV of the year, pretty easily, so far in August. I think it's a 9.9 out of 10, maybe higher. I'm trying to figure out, it's the best episode of TV since blank. Rose's Scabbard aired last year. That is crazy. That's not real, is it? The only episodes I'd consider as being in the same tier as this episode are that aired recently: Rose's Scabbard, Total Recall from Rick and Morty last year, and the Heaven Sent Doctor Who episode from last year. Not the finale, the one before the finale.
Yeah, the one before.
This is that's like a tier of its own in the top tier. And it's other than those three, I'm ready to call this the best TV episode since the Korra finale. It's just really incredible. I mean, I guess there's other Steven Universe episodes I'm considering for the top 10 too. There's also Jailbreaks, that's in this tier. And I don't remember what else I put in. And Sworn to the Sword, of course. So I think these four are now a tier of their own at the top. Bismuth joins the ranks of those three episodes. And then you get into your Back to the Barns and your New Larses and everything like that, which in my mind is the second tier, and Too Far and stuff like that. But it's I can't overstate how good this is. I'm interested to see the reaction going forward. This should, if any Steven Universe should have time to breathe in its own month, it's this one. But no, we're going forward.
Well, I mean, they're not airing episodes tomorrow, so I guess we do get like 3 days.
Yeah, unless tomorrow's airs in Canada, which is also possible. That's so we'll see. But I guess them putting out a next week promo means it isn't airing tomorrow for sure. I mean, their schedule. Anyway, let's wrap up the Bismuth discussion, then we'll watch the promo for next week. Justin, final thoughts on Bismuth?
I think we're going to see Bismuth again in some capacity in this series. I think the fact that Bismuth is now bubbled in the bubble room means we're going to get something, but I'm okay waiting another 65 episodes. I think this was all we needed for now. I thought it was very self-contained, and I thought it was great.
Delaney.
I wanted to just reiterate what you said about the episodes that you listed. Like I mean, I haven't really felt anything watching a lot of, I freak out when we talk about stuff, but I haven't when I say she shattered me, this episode really, this was a very powerful, emotional, this was just a beautiful, just wonderful episode. And I completely agree that this is, one of the best episodes of television since the Korra finale. Since it's definitely up there with Heaven Sent and Total Recall. Those that's it. This is just. And to me, might be just the best episode of Steven Universe to date. We can argue here and there about Rose's Scabbard and Sworn to the Sword, but this is up there. I just adored this episode. I thought it was I think it's perfect. I thought this episode was perfect.
I also had The Woman Who Lived, the Macy Williams, the first Macy
Williams
episode,
yeah,
my very high up on my episode rankings last year. I think that's also potentially in this tier. Now that I see this, I really just want to go rewatch that episode, but maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the highest tier. I mean, it's so bad. This is I want to talk going forward about whether all the Steven Universe episodes should be this length, but because at the same time we've seen that 11 minutes can also be brilliance with the other episodes, but this is okay. Let us know what you thought of Bismuth. Let's I'm gonna now watch the Summer of Steven final week promo 30 minutes.
You will scream. I'm
going to annotate what's happening while we're going. Okay.
Wait, are you gonna give me a link or something?
Well, I don't know if you want to even be here for this. Do you?
Because this is discussion of the future, Delaney, and you hate anything that hasn't happened.
I do hate spoilers.
But yeah, okay, get it up. I'm gonna do 3, 2, 1, play. You guys can do it with me. I haven't seen it before. This is a classic from the Spirit World, overly animated. Watch the trailer thing.
Well, I gotta do it for the throwback.
Yeah, do it for the throwback. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Mine's loading. It's doing stuff.
We'll go back to 0.
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna say on go. Not 3. Okay, that's a reference to Junction. So spoilers. We're gonna go on go. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Eating donuts. Peridot. Hold on, what? Them teleporting. Amazing and epic, these episodes. Hello!
I saw this on TV.
I didn't see it on
Yes,
TV.
it's aired on TV.
Oh yeah, I watched this already. Okay.
Well, now we're watching again. Question marks? Okay, good job.
They're censoring the spoilers. They're making fun of themselves.
Around. Lapidot watching TV? Question marks.
Peridot's wearing a bow tie, people.
I couldn't even
hear
it.
Are they on a date?
Are they on a date? Lapidot
episodes.
date? Wait, remind me of the fusion name.
Lapidot.
Sardonyx.
Sardonyx. We saw Sardonyx again, yeah.
One of Delaney's favorite questions.
Are they actually making fun of spoilers? That's great.
Yes,
I think so.
Okay, I didn't. See, you said this earlier, and I didn't know if it was what I had watched on TV, but it was what I watched on TV. Okay, because it aired immediately.
Yeah, this
after.
aired immediately at the end of the episode.
See, I've conditioned myself to tune out from Cartoon Network's promos because they air the same Summer of Steven promo before every episode, and I'm done with it. So I just tune out.
They had a new one for this week. Okay, and now they have this one.
This one's really funny though because of the question marks. Like, good job making fun of yourself. Like, good job.
Yeah. So more Connie coming up.
Lapis and Peridot are clearly on a date. Clearly.
What do you mean they're clearly on a date?
I think the most important thing here is Sardonyx.
By the way,
Sardonyx, there's so much stuff.
Sardonyx, go to 10 seconds. Peridot is, I think, attempting to firebend. I think that's what's happening. I believe that is what's happening here, just for the record.
Peridot just needs to dip down.
No. But yeah.
Down.
She's earthbending, Dylan.
She's in like a magma thing, I think, is what it looks like. I don't know.
She's bowling.
Lava bending is earth bending.
Oh yeah, she's lava bending. She's actually the green. Yeah, someone said a while ago, why are the green characters always the best ones? Bolin, Peridot.
They're tough.
Tommy, the original Green Power Ranger. Yeah, I agree.
Something. These question marks now. Did Cartoon Network actually spend time on a promo? Wow, that's surprising.
I know.
Yeah. Why is Garnet shaking Pearl? Yeah, that's my question. And then, why does Peridot have a bow tie on? And they're
on a date, I'm telling you.
Please be watching Camp Pining Hearts. Please.
They're on a date. They're in the back. Okay, so like there's a truck. Everything about this just like they're on a date. They're on a date. Lapidot is real, people.
Oh no, Peridot tried to recreate a drive-in movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
And this is what happened.
And Peridot wearing a bow tie is like, I didn't know I needed this in my life, but like now my life is complete.
Is Peridot trying to like replicate Sardonyx? Does Sardonyx have a bow tie? Is that a thing?
What if? That would be so cute.
Like Sardonyx does have a bow tie, yeah.
Oh my god, Peridot being the Sardonyx fan.
I love how Lapis and Peridot are finally like doing stuff together. Like they do seem domestic, and I love it.
To be fair, Lapis is still not thrilled, but that's her general state.
This is
her expression. Just pause it on her looking at the TV. She looks so confused, while Peridot's like bored.
Yeah. Okay. Next week.
Delaney didn't ship Lapidot until this moment, and it's so real right now.
Wow, what a revelation! As of next week, we have Beta and Earthlings airing on Monday, Tuesday Back to the Moon, Wednesday Bubbled, Thursday Kindergarten Kid, and that's the beginning of season 4. Friday Know Your Fusion. So, Delaney, don't look at the future titles beyond this.
No, I'm not going to.
I want to have a game in the next podcast, or one of them, 3 fake titles and 1 real title, because some of these titles are absurd. So I want you to guess which.
Am I allowed to look at the fake titles or the new titles?
Yeah, but it's just going to be it's Delaney guessing the Rupert tweets.
He just wants me. He just wants to make fun of me. So I'm fine with this. We can do this.
Because the 5th title in season 4 is I don't understand why.
But... And I don't look at titles anyway. So I'm the perfect candidate.
Don't send Delaney an asking spoiler.
Yeah, don't spoil me. Like y'all want to play this game, because if I'm wrong, Dylan and all of you can make fun of me. Like, this is just prime entertainment, people.
It's gonna be good. Okay, that's it. So there's Bismuth, and next week we'll get into that. If Beta airs tomorrow in the US or in Canada, I'm honestly going to turn on Cartoon Network at 7 to make sure that Beta's not airing. I do not trust their schedule at all.
I will say, I have my DVR set, and last week it hadn't come up yet that they were going to record this week's Steven Universe, but this week it is now already set up to record 2 episodes on Monday.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the schedule right now, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Presumably one day beforehand it'll mean something, but
I'm still mad at Cartoon Network. They literally an hour before Too Far aired, they said, "Oh no, we're pushing it to 7." Sorry.
It's typical Cartoon Network. We don't need to tell the Young Justice story here, but
we don't. We don't.
Code Lyoko never even finised airing.
Yeah, Code Lyoko aired only online, much like Korra, actually. If Beta airs in Canada, I don't know. We may or may not do a podcast on it tomorrow. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Much like the promo. So we'll see. Beta also could just leak online early. And
who knows?
Who knows? There's so many possibilities. Anyway, very excited. Let us know your thoughts on Bismuth. I'm excited to check out. I was going to read part of long review. Scrolling up, part of Eric Thurm's AV Club review, but I'll read that separately.
Club, right?
Yeah, but we don't need that. We're already at hour 10. So. We did promise long podcast, so it's gonna be great, and we'll get into stuff next week. Check out our Ladybug podcast on Sunday. We just recorded that. Good stuff, I guess. Question mark. Wow. So rude. Check out our.
I liked it.
It was just fun. It was fun. Check out our Star podcast. As usual, we made Star references in this one. We kind of referenced a lot of stuff, but
we just reference everything always.
That's on Monday, and then Steven Universe Solved next week. And coming soon, Dylan's definitive rankings of all of the Summer of Steven episodes. I've started the post on it. Spoiler alert, Bismuth is now number 1, although fierce competition with the new Lars for number 1. So,
my god.
That's number 2.
There's still 6 more episodes.
Yeah, but there's still 6 more episodes. Like any of these. And one of them has Connie in it, and one of them has Lapidon in it, and one of them has
there's
Sardonyx
so many
in
options.
It. Like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for Sardonyx again.
How is Sardonyx gonna... That's, to me, the most exciting thing now. Like, I didn't think I'd be excited about Sardonyx ever, but I'm now excited.
Sardonyx is amazing. You need to, like,
No, I love Sardonyx, but it's like, I don't even care about the actual fusing. It's what is so important that all of that is forgiven. That we're okay and we're ready to do this again.
Ready to do this. Let's go. Ready.
Ready. Born Voltron.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically fusion, so.
Yeah, it is, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know how to end it. Oh man, I'm seeing Korra fan art? Wow, that's weird. That's on my dash. Okay.
Probably because of me. I'm not going to apologize.
No, it's not you, actually.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Isn't the Connie from the beginning just from Steven versus... or Crack the Whip?
Is it? I hope not. Please don't.
Unless they're back on the bench eating donuts.
Oh, no, they do! No! Come on, I was looking forward to another Connie episode.
We're gonna get
one.
Connie.
We don't know for a fact that we're not getting
from
it.
Crack the Whip.
It's old Amethyst, look.
Fine. Those of you who sent me asks already, delete your ask. Justin already corrected me. Okay.
Delete your ask.
Delete your ask. Don't panic. No new Steven Universe tomorrow night, says Matt Burnett on Twitter. The episode beta will air Monday night along with another new episode, Earthlings. Okay. Yeah. Again, that doesn't really mean anything, but
come on, Canada.
Come on. Well, I don't know if I'm rooting for it or not. Maybe we want a Friday off, but we'll see.
We need to digest Bismuth. We need to sit and ponder our lives.
Overlyanimated.com. If you liked our 15-minute podcast, consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Last night we had our Patreon exclusive podcast. That's one of the perks of being a patron for the $5 tier or above. And we discussed Bismuth theories, and a lot of them came out to be true. So that's cool. And we also showed off our Pokemon Go character collection. So that's what you missed and last night.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You missed that, Delaney. Yeah,
really?
Sorry.
Well, I had to go to Target, so sorry. I had to go to Target.
Insight into Delaney's life. Okay. So yeah, a lot of perks of being a patron. One of them is nicknames. So thank you very much to our patrons: Mitch Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Dave Vaughn, and Jade, aka Fever, Mitch Cordell, University, Beatrix Exchange, Nathan Fillion, Buzz Like, Your Mailman, Rachel Rose, Johnny Vabro, Brian, Cookie Cat, Needle, Diamond Day, and Jewel. If you are still listening an hour and 15 minutes in, you are someone who could be a patron.
We want you.
We want you. This more than anyone else.
Pointing at my computer. We want you.
Consider that. Become in the patron group and discuss things there too. Facebook group. That's another perk. Check that out. Patreon.com/overlyanimated. We'll be back. More Steven Universe coverage. Also, we've been covering every day, so that's impressive. So support us. There you go. That's my plea. Thank you very much for listening, guys. We will see you next time, whenever that is. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. Bye.
Bye.